folks, this is all the fruit, and I wanted to make a video about tiny bananas for some time now. Recently I saw two separate videos by Fit Shorty where he says that he's eating the world's smallest bananas, but he suspiciously doesn't provide a name for them. Well, firstly, I think I can beat him with my even tinier bananas. And secondly, this reminded me how tiny bananas are being treated around the world. Well, most of us who live in temperate areas are only familiar with the big Cavendish banana, and the ones who are interested in fruits know that there are hundreds, maybe thousands of different bananas in the tropics and subtropics, and most of them are really tiny, but not that tiny. Well, I encountered the nefarious banana scam, or maybe it's rather a funny banana joke, in Guadeloupe, where the local Creole people actually, they're making a lot of money out of French tourists, selling them mostly good and tasty fruits and good and tasty food, but sometimes they do such stuff like telling them that the overripe black guanabana fruits are the best, or that the tiny bananas are something special. In Guadeloupe you will find a hint of bananas the size of small Cavendish for a couple euros. Next to them a hint of bananas the size of small human fingers for the same price. And next to it basically bananas as thick as pencils and maybe 4 or 5 centimeters long, also for a couple euros. I bought a couple of the small ones once, but then I realized that they were basically the same as the big ones. A banana plant needs a lot of water and sun and fertilizer to produce good fruits, and when you grow it in the shade, I'm sorry, Blihori, when you grow it in the shade, or don't fertilize it enough, or don't give it enough water, the bananas will turn out. What's up with me and why did it start when I started the videos? The bananas will be very small. And the people in Guadeloupe, which are very crafty when it comes to selling stuff to tourists, know how to make money out of this. And I think Fit Shorty also found a similar thing, because his tiny bananas look suspiciously. Come on, man. Funny. Nothing all morning, and when I started to film, well, his tiny bananas look suspiciously like this here. Look at the beautiful honey colored inside. Those actually Pisang Emas or Pisang Emas golden bananas. There is a very similar one, Pisang Madu, the honey banana. Both are very valued dessert bananas here in Malaysia and Indonesia. I kind of suspect that Fit Shorty has some Pisang Emas, Pisang Madu, or maybe even Pisang Hotel, which didn't get enough nutrients. Those here are already very small for Pisang Emas. They are basically half the size of what the Pisang Emas should be. But those here, well, those are already very tiny. Those are really teeny tiny. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you get very tiny varieties here on the markets, but this, the lady confirmed to me, yes, this is all Pisang Emas. She even had some bigger ones nearby. She said this is all Pisang Emas. Also, she didn't try to scam me. On the contrary, she sold me this for 2 ringgit, gave me this for free, refused 3 ringgit. I even tried to sneak the 3rd ringgit into the money, but she was very upset and gave it back to me and said it's 2 ringgit. So what does that tell you? Well, basically, for the local people, those small bananas, if they're of the same variety, are not of high value. most probably they wouldn't even have sold this. I think this was an old lady, probably pretty poor, so she's selling everything she can. But on the other hand, she knows that what she's selling is not considered too valuable by the local people, so she really keeps her pride by selling it for a very low price. Well, while the people in Guadeloupe, they basically, I would say they are scamming the French, because the French probably expect those tiny bananas to taste much different, because as Europeans we always hear that the tiny bananas in the tropics taste different. Yeah, usually they do, but sometimes the tiny bananas are just tiny bananas of a bigger variety. Also, yeah, Fit Shorty, I wouldn't say that he's really scamming the people. He's providing interesting content, and he's just maybe cherry picking the information a little bit. If you would say this is Pisang Emas or Pisang Hotel or Pisang Badu, people could Google it and find out that you just found some really tiny bananas. The bananas are tasty. Bless the old lady's soul who didn't want to accept any more money from me. What do you think, folks? I would say, yeah, what Fit Shorty does is legit, although a little bit sketchy. What a few vendors in Guadeloupe do is very sketchy, but still kind of providing an interesting experience for the tourists. Tell me your opinion on that, folks. Tell me your opinion on small tropical banana varieties and very small undernourished bananas sold either for very cheap or sometimes for very expensive prices. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from, in this case, the small town of Bentong in West Malaysia. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.